When was the first time you made challah?
That's a good question. I have no idea. It was probably like after I went to Japan. Like I think I used like a New York Times challah recipe. And I was
really?
like, I want to try making this. And then my mom was like, Henry, let's stop. You make too much of this, it's always going to be in the house, and then I'm always going to eat too much.
That's what my parents always say. They're like, why are you feeding us so much? Like, stop baking. And I'm like, no.
Never.
Never.
And for sugar, you can use like whatever. Like, this is like the nice thing about this recipe is you can make it entirely from shit you can find at CVS.
Oh, that is very nice.
Yeah. So, it's very college student friendly.
Love that. And it seems like you bake a lot in college too, right? Like
Yeah.
just like in the dorms.
Yeah. I was in Andrew's freshman year. Which
Oh,
was
that's
like,
so nice.
Yeah, but I was in a triple, and it wasn't like one of the super big ones. Like it hadn't been renovated. Like we had a sink, so we were like fairly blessed. But
Yeah.
It wasn't like.
Like Hotel Andrews style.
Yeah, no, like
Gotcha.
3 teenage boys living in one room with one window.
Yikes! Oh my god. And then where'd you get this recipe? Like, did you look it up online and then kind of over the years or over the time, like, do whatever you thought was good?
Yeah, this is like pretty much the New York Times recipe.
Okay.
And then like with a little bit of additions, like they don't have sourdough. And then I think I like changed some measurements. Like I definitely think it was like 8 cups of flour, but I just make it 1,000 grams because that's like kind of the same and it's so much easier. So this is gonna like get activated and happy.
Ooh.
And then you can smell the sourdough too. So I haven't fed it in a while, so it's super fermented and really strong.
Whoa! Oh my god.
Right?
Wait, so what goes in that?
Flour and water.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it just sits there?
Yeah. And then it gets that like whole smell and like flavory stuff.
How does it? Wait, why does it smell like? It smells like vinegar.
Yeah, because like vinegar has a lot of vinegar's just like fermented sugar, basically, and like kind of like or like juice, so it has more like fruity components, but it's a lot of like the same like it's the same process really that like makes the sourdough that makes vinegar. Sourdough is just like
Interesting.
continually renewed, so it can smell like vinegar, cheese, yogurt, all
Wow.
these different things. Yeah, it's super
So
fun.
knowledgeable.
No, it's not a very like heart-friendly recipe.
You know, that's okay. We need all the bread that we can get at this point. How often do you make bread? Like regularly?
Probably ends up being like twice a week.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, sometimes it gets longer, and then I'm like, I want to do it. Like, I want to eat bread. I want to touch the dough. Like, I miss like having that sensation. Do you have a whisk?
Yes. Right here.
Awesome, thank you.
And then, so now who do you feed it to? Like, do you feed it to your roommates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just with my roommates. At home, it would be like my family, family friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like roommates, friends. If people ask for it, like I'll try to do it. But I don't know. A lot of people are just like, hey, give me bread.
Oops.
Yeah. So I put more sugar in it. So yeah, it's just a lot of sugar and oil makes everybody happy.
That's what makes it taste good.
But also too, like that's kind of the fun thing about like sourdoughs because it sits for so long. Like your mouth has this enzyme like saliva called like amylase, which breaks down like starches into like sugars. So it makes like that's why if you like chew bread for a really long time, like it's gonna taste sweet. Because,
Wait,
like,
really?
Yeah, or like if you just have like starchy stuff in your mouth and you like have it there for a while, it'll end up like tasting kind of sweet.
Wait, I didn't know that. I'm gonna try that.
It's kind of weird, but good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, but like with bread, like a similar thing happens, like because you have the flour, which is just a bunch of starch.
Yeah.
You like mix it with water and you let it sit for a long time. It's gonna end up like tasting like really nice and sweet, so it like produces all these like natural sugars. So the flour is like literally just sugar.
Interesting.
In like, a different form.
How did you learn, like, all of that whole spiel? How did you acquire that knowledge?
I think I just picked it up in like a combination of bio classes and like
Reading.
recipes, Instagram. The
Amazing.
bread community on Instagram is totally recommend checking it out. One of my
I
favorites
definitely will.
is this guy called Artisan Brian.
Ooh.
He's really cool. Yeah, he's this like Honduran guy in Florida, and he makes like prettiest bread.
Whoa.
It's so good.
You should do like a bread trip, like where you meet all these like artisan bakers, you know, that you connect with on Instagram through the bread community, and then like vlog it or something.
I really want to go to like Scandinavia.
Oh, do
Is
they
that-
have really good bread there?
Yeah, like they have like rise and shit.
Oh, Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for doing this. This is amazing.
Yeah, I was making bread. So basically, I'm just gonna put all this shit together.
That was a great explanation. I love it.
Yes. Like, it doesn't have to be so complex. Like literally, I beat like it's like baking like 101. You know, you just like you
Yeah.
do all the wet ingredients and you put all the dry together and like
Mix it up.
right. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super tough. Do you have like a spoon? Yeah, sometimes I make like really big batches because it's like with bread, it's like easier almost to make like 6 loaves than to make one.
Yeah.
So, because it's like the same, you're doing the same steps. It's not like and the labor of like dividing it is super fun and easy. So I've made like, this is probably gonna end up being like, I don't know, like a kilo of dough. So like 2 something pounds, but I made it with
wow.
like 6 kilos.
Oh my
There's
god.
so much. Yeah, and I was stirring it with like a spoon like this, and then just like snap.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Why were you making so much bread? Like, what was that for?
2 of my friends had birthdays that week.
Oh.
So I was like, I might as well. And then I was like, I wanted to make a lot.
Do they pay you?
No.
Ah.
Super cool. It's also super cheap. Like making like the sourdough artisanal bread shit. Like it's literally just flour, which this is like I don't know,
Like not that much. Yeah.
It's like $7 and you can make like this is gonna be like double its weight in bread because of water pretty much. Well, the water evaporates. I don't know actually about that math, but like a lot of fucking bread for like not a lot of money. Salt is very cheap. Water is like not an expensive thing. And if you want to be like nuts, you can like buy really expensive flour and shit.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure exists if like Silicon Valley guys are into this hobby. But you don't have to, so yeah, it ends up being really cheap.
Yeah, that is what is kind of beautiful about like bread making is that all the ingredients are super simple and like basically everyone has them,
Yeah.
but it like produces this thing that's like art almost, and it like tastes so good.
It's kind of weird, but I almost think of it like Pokemon. You know, do you ever play Pokemon?
My brother did. I did a little bit when he did.
You know the like they evolve, right?
Yeah,
You like start
yeah.
with one thing and it's completely different.
That's how you imagine bread.
Yeah, because you start with like all these different things and like making it's just kind of the process of like condensing this like this weird little lump that it's gonna like turn into something with like shape and form.
Yeah.
So now you can see like it's kind of come together. It's like pretty sticky, but there's all these like spots of flour which I don't really want. But they also don't matter that much. Okay, cool. So this is like, if I was like a mid-century purist, I'd probably take this out and like knead it for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Because it's like it's not smooth. It's not like one cohesive ball. But I don't want to do that because it's messy and it takes so much time. So what I'm gonna do instead is like this thing called stretching and folding. So basically, you kind of mix all the dough together, and then ideally I would wait like 10 minutes just so it could kind of like hang out. It'll hydrate. It'll do some of that work first. But we don't have that time. So I'm just gonna like demo, I guess.
Yeah.
So usually I like wet my hands so the dough doesn't like stick as
Stick.
much. And I already have flour on my fingers, so it's not gonna do that much. I just kind of pick it up, stretch it, fold it. Like that's the kind of basic idea. And this is basically doing what kneading does, but like much more slowly. And so instead of kneading for like 15 minutes, if you do like that like 3 or so times over the course of like I don't know, like 2 hours, you basically like accomplish the same thing.
Really?
But it's like a lot less work and a lot less hassle from my perspective.
Interesting. Because like resting it is doing some of the work too.
Yeah. Like I can see it being a hassle if you're like, oh, I want to like have bread today, but like you can't do that this way so much. But if you're like, I want bread at some point, and like I don't want to work that hard for it, then you're totally set.
Amazing.
So yeah, if you look now, that's kind of a bit more like a bowl, or like a spoon.
Oh yeah.
And
so then you just keep doing that like 2 or 3 more times?
I'm going to teach you how to do it, and then
oh boy,
you're going to do it a couple more times.
Okay.
And then like, you braid it. It's not that hard.
I feel like that's the key part. I've tried braiding it before. I've like made challah before and it turned out too dry.
Ooh.
And I don't know, like why does that happen? It was like really dense.
I don't know. Maybe like something to do with the yeast.
Oh.
Like I think that's kind of the hard bit. It's like if the yeast doesn't like end up working well, like if it's old, it can be like inert and die.